William Faulkner is often considered one of the greatest American novelists, and rightfully so. However, his work tends to have a polarizing effect on readers. You love it or you hate it. Frankly, most people hate it. The sentences are dizzying, the vocabulary is pretentious, and the chronology is non-existent. That being said, we would all benefit from reading more Faulkner. In high school, you may have been assigned to read Light in August but gave up after 2 chapters. I know I did. In my opinion, you can't expect a high school student to make any connection with Faulkner's work. His novels require a reader with patience and focus, who can use their own life experience to help navigate Faulkner's masterfully woven web of memory, experience, mortality, sexuality, race, society, and history. Despite being an avid purveyor of literature, I didn't truly grasp Light in August, which is considered one of Faulkner's easier works, until I was a junior in college. I'll probably reread Light in August in a few years and realize that I never truly grasped it at all, and that's a beautiful thing. Reading Faulkner can be a difficult task. The narration regularly delves into stream-of-consciousness writing, devoid of proper syntax, grammar, and punctuation. This kind of prose tends to confound some readers, and understandably so. However, the key is to hear the words interact with each other, instead of simply reading them. The novel The Sound and the Fury is famous for these dreamlike streams of consciousness. Take this passage for example. Father will be dead in a year, they say, if he doesn't stop drinking. And he won't stop. He can't stop. Since last summer. And then they'll send Benji to Jackson. I can't cry. I can't even cry 1 minute. She was standing in the door the next minute. He was pulling at her dress and bellowing. His voice hammered back and forth between the walls and waves. And she shrinking against the wall, getting smaller and smaller, with her white face, her eyes like thumbs, dug into it, until he pushed her out of the room, his voice hammering back and forth, as though its own momentum would not let it stop, as though there were no place for it, in silence bellowing. If you aren't entirely sure what just happened, that's okay. But can you hear how the tension builds? There isn't a single comma, period, or ellipsis in that whole passage. Not a single punctuation mark to tell the reader to slow down, or take a breath. It's supposed to be chaotic, because being human is chaotic. Reading Faulkner is a journey that parallels life itself. There are times when the path is winding and confusing, and you aren't really sure what's happening. Rich, palpable images crash into you, but they don't make the plot any clearer. Faulkner uses words that will send you to a dictionary, and sometimes uses words that don't even exist in dictionaries. You can't speed read through a Faulkner novel. Just as in life itself, there are no shortcuts. All you can do is take in what is happening in that moment, and trust that if you keep going, things will start to make more sense. There have been truly remarkable authors in America's short history. Mark Twain's novels are rich in local color and feel truly American both in plot and execution. Ernest Hemingway's gruff, straightforward style defies expectations, and proves that literature need not be esoteric. But William Faulkner knew that human experience is not molded into a predictable plot or tidy chronological sequence. He wasn't afraid of making the reader work to derive meaning. His prose is mouth-wateringly vivid, and the level of intimacy he achieves with his characters is unmatched. Being human is a thick entanglement of what one remembers about the past, sees in the present, and is uncertain about the future, and this is what Faulkner's novels portray.